Welcome to another episode of Dil Se Stories. We have once again a very special guest. This time it's Dr. Biju Raju. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Parag. Thank you, my dear friend, for having me on your channel. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
I know you're very busy and sought after eye doctor, and so really appreciate you making the time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, you know, sticking to the format, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience, please?
Sure, I'll do that. I'm Dr. Biju Raju. I'm a vitreoretinal surgeon and a cataract surgeon practicing at Kochi. I have my own surgical practice in a place called Vaitila in Kochi, in the southern part of India, in a state called Kerala. God's own country, they call it. And Parag and me were batchmates, and we were great friends. And I always enjoyed watching the different stories that come up on his channel, and very inspiring stories. I'm really, really thrilled that he has asked me to be on the channel with all of you. Thank you very much, Parag.
Thank you, Viju. And my name is Dr. Parag Bharadwaj. So, yes, as you heard, myself and Dr. Biju Raju, we went to med school together. In India, we call it college, right? And he's very
Yes.
humble. So, you will learn more about him as we go through the interview in terms of his achievements and so forth. But we'll start off with, apart from being an accomplished eye surgeon, he is also a very good musician. So we're going to talk about how those two overlap, and I think it's fascinating to have just observed you over the years and and to learn about how you've juggled it all. So to start off with, uh, tell us about like when did you start playing music?
The earliest memories of music in my life was listening to my parents singing. And I believe my mother told me that I used to start crying when she started singing, it seems. And it was very difficult. I had to be really dragged away from the place by somebody, and so that she could sing. And she was a trained musician. My father enjoyed music. He was into listening to Mukesh songs and singing all those Hindi songs. And my mother used to, give concerts, mainly in temples, and she was following music that way, the Carnatic music. So I guess they wanted me to have a feel of music at that time. But the earliest memory that I have of music is playing a almost broken guitar with just one string. And that was my father's guitar. I didn't know whether he played guitar or not, but that was one which was lying in our house. And on that one string, I used to play some of those Hindi songs that used to come during our very young days. And but beyond that, I don't have any strong this thing that I've been into music till I started taking lessons for vocal Carnatic as well as Mridanga. And then instruments just added on without me having to put any special effort. I would say that when I was in maybe sixth grade, I stumbled upon a harmonica, an old one at my cousin's place, and immediately I started playing a tune. But that time I was like, this must be normal for everybody. They just pick it up and play. So I just went along with it. I didn't think it was something, to be very, thrilled about. So like that, things just kept happening. And at one point of time in school, the competitions, I used to enter into these instrumental music competitions. And then people used to come and ask me, how come you play so many instruments? I said, yeah, why not? Everybody can play, I guess. And no, no, none of us can play any instrument. How come you're playing? So that's the time I really started realizing, maybe in mid school or something, that I was, probably having some sort of a gift to play music. But didn't take it very seriously, because I thought, again, what is music? Music is not going to do anything for me. So, because my father was an ophthalmologist, and I always wanted to be an ophthalmologist because I saw the way he practices and things like that. We had a consultation room in a home. So I used to spend some time in the consultation room after he finishes patients, and was very, I'm very happy to play with all those instruments with indirect ophthalmoscope and all these things. Joystick was there, so it was like a video game thing for me. So I had focused on that part of it. So music then came in later on, as when we grew up. People started appreciating music, and that's the way things went on for me.
I mean, you're definitely gifted. I've seen you live, and at one point when you were in college, I think you played a song at my request. So, thank you for doing that.
I remember
So,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, now, so you play a lot of instruments. Which one is your favorite?
My favorite is the guitar. I
Why?
love playing the guitar. Uh, uh, I think I would say that when I was in uh, 12th standard, actually, we went to a place, a hotel nearby called Sealog. There's a band called 1380. And the lead guitarist, his name is Eloy Essex, and he looks like Jesus Christ, beard and long hair, and so that. I actually went to learn this song called La Bamba because we were supposed to play in school. So I went to a senior of mine, and then actually he was so humble. He detuned his guitar to my guitar tuning, which was off standard by miles, I would say. Because I didn't know anything about standard tuning and what not. So I had just three chords that I knew. And he taught me the song. And then not only that, he actually asked us to sit and listen to them playing and gave us dinner. And the way he played, the guitar was something like an extension of his body. He was not even looking at the guitar, he was just playing and enjoying himself. And the whole band was like that. So that gave me the insight that, probably this is the instrument that will be good for me. So I spent the whole night practicing the song. And the beautiful part of the story is that this I was sent as a sort of a messenger, or whatever you call it, to learn the guitar solo and come back and teach the lead guitarist, because he couldn't come that day. So I was supposed to learn it and then teach him how to play for the school program. But the next day I was thorough with it. I went and showed him this is the way to play it, and he couldn't play it. How many other times we tried, he couldn't play it, and he said, "You play the song." So that's how I became the lead guitarist of the band, and then things just took on a different meaning for me, and that's I spend more time with the guitar and playing the guitar more frequently, and dedicating some time for the guitar. That's the way I fell in love with the guitar, actually, even now.
Amazing. Amazing. So, so you have all these videos on YouTube, which I would definitely request our audience to watch because, I mean, there are different skills that I get to see when I watch your videos. One is, of course, you're a great guitarist, but then you also, it's like a one-man band, right?
It's a one-man band, yeah.
Yeah. And you play other instruments. So it's not just the guitar that you are focused on, you're playing all the other instruments that go with the song.
Yes.
And you even sing.
Yes.
Is amazing. So would definitely encourage our audience to watch those videos. Um, and apart from that, the production, right? Do you do the production yourself?
It's actually a one-man band in the whole sense. I mean, it's not that, you have somebody taking a video, or there's somebody editing something. Right from, you say you start with the tempo track or a signature track on the digital audio workstation, or the DAW, what do you call it? I use Cubase, which I find it very easy to use. And then right from the first track, it's like a plain canvas on the DAW, and you start putting in sounds, tracks onto it. And I have to master it. I have to mix it, make sure everything is right. pick up all the parts. All these things happen. And then once it is ready, then the video has to be taken. That also, there's nobody involved. It's like you put the camera on a tripod, and then I have to record, come back, press the record, come back and position myself and start playing. And so every track and every video is recorded. And the editing, I learned editing on Adobe Premiere, and I used to edit all the videos myself. And whatever production you are seeing, except maybe one or two, which have been helped by a couple of my friends, otherwise, everything else, maybe I've got about 50 one-man band videos. Now, of it, maybe one or two have been taken by somebody else. But the rest of it, the entire production, mixing, mastering, editing of the videos, even recording videos, uploading, everything. That's me only. So it's a zero cost production. I don't have to pay anybody. I don't get paid also. That's another
Yeah, but I
fact.
think it's such a labor of love because you
Yeah,
can see it, and
yeah.
of course you can feel it when you listen to the music. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing it because I think,
Sure.
I mean, it's not easy. I'm sure it requires a lot of skill because it's so much in sync, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure it's not as easy as you make it look.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I don't spend, one shot, I don't spend too much of time on it because, of course, we know the work load that we have. So my projects take anywhere between 3 to 6 months to completion. And sometimes it doesn't reach completion at all. There are many projects hanging without any further progress at all. So maybe a little bit time here and there, we put it in, and sometimes the project reaches completion. And I find it very satisfying to see, each of them, each of the people, or if I could call them as different characters in the video, they seem to have a different personality when they take a different instrument. So a drummer has a way of behaving. The bassist plays in a separate, a different way. He's more laid back. It just comes naturally when you play it. So that I see it, I feel very happy. I call it the digital prosopagnosia. That's facial blindness. The initial video actually had puzzled many of them. In fact, I had sent it to Dr. Ramachandran, also the neurologist, neuroscientist, but I didn't get a reply about prosopagnosia, which is facial blindness. Oliver Sacks had it. So people don't recognize faces. So in this video, you had 4 people sitting and playing. A couple of my very close friends called me and asked me who were the other 3 playing with you. So, I mean, the different profiles, your brain is not tuned to that time to say that, these 4 are the same guys. It is
No,
interesting
that's
to,
that's fascinating. And you're talking about the physician who's based out of San Diego, I think.
yeah, I sent
Yeah,
him a mail, I sent him the
yeah.
link, but I didn't get any reply. I didn't expect any, but they've
No, but
been,
it's fascinating, right? Like you mentioned the different personalities of different uh, musicians, right?
yeah,
Like the person who plays the the bass
the bass
guitar
guitar.
is a bit more laid back. I mean, it's the same thing in
You,
medicine as
you,
well.
you can imagine Rohan Daniel. Rohan Daniel
Yes,
was the
yes,
bassist for the
our bass.
band.
Yeah,
He was such a
yeah,
laid back person.
yeah. No, it's true, and I think it also it's true in the personalities of different physicians and different specialities,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah. True.
So, surgeons have a different
More aggressive
personality,
and
yeah, and then
yeah.
others have like, internal medicine, ophthalmologists, and pediatricians. They, of course, have, you can tell that they have a very unique personality. So
Very
it's interesting you brought that up with music. Now,
yeah.
uh, you are a very accomplished physician, so I'm going to, for the sake of our audience, and embarrassing you, I will share some of the accomplishments. Okay, so
Okay.
Biju, when we were in med school, was the best outgoing undergraduate from the Operations Eyesight Universal, unit of our opthal department, and he was also the best outgoing postgraduate. Uh, he was also the best ophthalmology fellow from L.V. Prasad Eye Institute, where you did your fellowship, right? And the first board certified vitreoretinal surgeon in India. So so many laurels,
Mhm.
and then one looks at you, you look so humble, down to earth, and you find time to play music and share that music, to spread the joy. Where do you see the world of medicine and music overlapping?
I think music has a role in medicine, because in a physician's life or a doctor's life, because music creates empathy, music creates compassion, music also makes you a perfectionist. A musician is never happy with the creation that he does. Even when I listen back to certain videos, certain music that I have created, covers of songs, I feel I should have done something different. I should have done better here. So I always feel that perfectionist mentality comes in for an artist, for that matter. Musician is no exception in that. And for me, music has been a way of releasing all the pressures. And when I start playing, time stands still. You never know what's the time going, where the time is going. And finally, you are very relaxed at the end of the day, because we feel the pressure sometimes. And this is a way to vent that pressure, and also to become more creative. And my interaction with different people in music, uh, be it a producer, be it a composer, be it a fellow guitarist, when we have a band playing or a group playing, you end up interacting with people from other disciplines. So that helps you to be more creative. That helps me, for example, when we made a new device for smartphone imaging, the person who helped me most was another musician who was also an engineer. He was also a multi-potentialite. So he is the one who helped me with the ideas, production of the app, and giving me encouragement when I do something good. So such kind of people do come into your life. You expand your intellectual community better, and you share knowledge from them, and that is going to make you a better person. And for me, specifically when I do lasers, it's a rhythmic thing. You set the time, a repeat interval at say 250 milliseconds or 300 milliseconds. It is a rhythm. It goes in a rhythmic pattern, and that helps you to place your burns well, do this procedure well. And I feel I'm a good ambidextrous surgeon, because I use both my hands for playing the guitar, and the entire role for right and left hand switches over when you start playing a keyboard. When you're starting playing the piano, for example, your rhythm is on your left hand and your melody is on your right hand, which is the opposite for the guitar. So your hand switch. So the role switching happens there, and you have to be good on that. So that I feel has helped me become a better surgeon, and it makes you more compassionate. You empathize with people who are suffering. That makes you a better person and a doctor. That's my take on music and medicine.
Awesome. I mean, you just stumped me because you said some very interesting things. Now, let me ask you this. So, um, you mentioned like when you lose touch of time, right? Like time stands still. Um, and you're an eye doctor, right? So it's all about light and vision. Are there times when you like, I don't recall, you just close your eyes actually while you're playing the music or enjoying the music? So because a lot of musicians have told me like when they get to a certain level, they just close their eyes and they're so much into the music. That's when they get into that state of flow and lose touch of time. What happens with you?
I always thought vision was an impediment in music, you know, because 50% of your sensory input is through the optic nerve. 50% of your total input to the brain is optic nerve. So that is 50% you cut off, and your brain starts to quieten down. And then your default mode network takes over, and then you become creative, and you start enjoying what you're doing. For example, when you have a tough question to answer, you always close your eyes and do that. You know, that is a shut off all the sensory input. 50% of your sensory input is out. And then you start thinking better because you don't want to be distracted. So the other day I had the opportunity to witness three blind musicians play, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and it was they played everything so beautifully well, and without anybody looking. You know, when you play in a band, you certainly look at each other, time sometime each other. So, but then there were no visual cues, and I don't know how they gel. So I was telling myself, so vision is probably an impediment to creativity. So that is why probably people, close their eyes to think better and create new ideas and things like that. So, I mean, that's my, this is what I thought about vision and music. A lot of sensory load on the brain. You cut it off and spend that energy for something else for a while.
Thanks for sharing that wonderful insight. Now, we do have a lot to cover because I'm really enjoying this conversation. I will request our audience to, um, you know, look at your or access your blog, because you mentioned the app that you worked on, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you do it all. You're a musician, you're an entrepreneur, you're an inventor, and of course, you're an outstanding physician. Now, I want you to share with the audience how you were able to discipline yourself. So when we were doing our MBBS, it's not a piece of cake, right? And so, but even then, you were able to, you know, juggle things. You were an outstanding student, and you were able to dedicate time to your music. You were able to perform in concerts. Uh, so, how did you manage to do that? How did you discipline yourself?
Uh, I will be very frank with you because I always thought myself to be a very average, maybe below average student when I joined medical school. And it was a tough time for me in the first year of medical school because I've never stayed away from home, never stayed away from my parents. So it was a real tough time for me the first 6 months to get adjusted to the place and people, and I was very timid, I was very scared. So I really didn't do well in the first 6 months. And I flunked the first internals for anatomy. And I was so scared. So, and that too for half a mark. So I remember running after, you remember Dr. Somiaji. I remember running after him. Uh, Sir, half mark, please. I want to pass this exam. I don't want to fail the first exam in this place. And he told me one thing: if I give you half a mark and make you pass, then you will not do well in the rest of your MBBS. This is a lesson for you. This is to tell you that you need to buckle up and start doing well. So that was the best advice I got. I mean, if he had given me half a mark, then I would have cleared, and that would have been a different mindset. But this was a mindset that I have to do it. So from then onwards, I gave it my whatever I could to make sure that I did not flunk any subjects during the MBBS course. And then I don't know that you have to be lucky. You have to be very lucky with a batch like ours, with people like Solak Kyong, Ravi Trehon, David Ong. David Wong. So it was a David Ong, I think. His name was David Ong. Yes, I remember him. So these guys were like, you can't beyond reach. So I must be very lucky. But I knew that ophthalmology was mine because I had a head start. My father was there and things like that. I grew up with ophthalmology, so I knew that that is mine. But amazing class. The people I hang around with, all of them were always in the library. You know, my roommate Anand, the rest of them, Binny, all those guys were always in the library. You were in the library. Tanvir was there in the library. So we were all there. So the peer pressure is also important. Yeah, the people who are surrounding, whom you surround yourself with. they also mark a trajectory for you to take. And that's what has helped me. And one thing I may add, if you permit me, is when
Yes.
I don't know whether you remember this cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Krishnan. I don't know whether you remember. He was also interested in music. So once he jammed with us for a show and he played on stage. And one day he found me in the library, in the canteen. So he came and asked me, "Are you not in the library reading?" I said, "So I just came down for a cup of coffee." I said, "Listen, Biju, I understand that you play well on the guitar, you're a musician, but see, people will appreciate your music better or more if you are good in academics." And that kept ringing in my ears after that. Even now, I tell young friends of mine who are musicians and um, studying something, maybe medicine, maybe other syllabi, I would tell them that this is a golden advice that was given to me, one of the best cardiothoracic surgeons, who was also a musician, and you should take it very seriously. That's the way it was, and a lot of support from my professors, Dr. Chandrasekhar, Dr. Satish. All these people are always supportive to see that, music also. Donuses, you remember, right? The department supported us so much. So I was lucky at that point of time to be there in the right place with the right people and the right professors, right teachers, friends, all guiding me well.
Yeah, you really took me down memory lane, started from the anatomy days in first year, and then yeah, to like the study hours we had to put in the library.
Yeah.
And but I think there was a big difference. You spent a lot of time studying. I think I was one of those people who spent a lot of time in the canteen in the library. Yeah,
All of us
yeah,
were there.
yeah. So right now, yeah, I think you brought up the first semester, right, of MBBS, and yeah, I mean, you just have to, you're just thrown into it, right? And
Yes.
you don't have the time to adjust,
Yeah.
and it's very intense, right? You just for the sake of the audience, you pass your 12th standard, and then all of a sudden you're into medicine, and there is no time to adapt. You just like it's in your face. You just got to adjust and get going. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's thanks for sharing all that information. Before we wind up, I mean, I feel everybody is gifted. We all gifted differently, Biju. Um, I remember when we used to watch you in college, you say, "Wow, why can't we be like him?" What is your advice to youngsters of today in terms of you know just juggling the expectations that the world has of them, and also at the same time enjoying what they do and what their natural inclination is towards not just science but also art, right? Like you've balanced both.
Yes. I mean, like you said, people are gifted. All of us are gifted. But where we need not be all doctors or engineers. Uh, there are people who are good at arts. There are people who are probably good at just producing something for the betterment of our community. There are leaders. So I mean, it's not that everybody has the same gifts. To identify that is something that we should always strive for. What gives you the most contentment, and what gives you the what lets you get into a fluid state fast. That's kind of, or a state of flow, as you would say. So that's something which we need to realize. And expectations, I think more likely that the parents are to be advised on that. Actually, they should not put a burden on children, telling them that this is what the world is, this is the way to go. I think they just have to nurture them, nurture their talents well, find out where they are good at, and give them that direction, so that they do well in life. All of us can't do. I mean, I was pretty bad at mathematics, so if I had been an engineer, I would have been a disaster. I would say that because that's a different field. I'm not cut out for that. So I'm more of a person who would enjoy treating people, making things good for them. So that's something which I enjoy doing. So you will have to find your niche and then work around that and go forward. And expectations, you be yourself. Why do you have to compare with somebody? When you compare with somebody, then the expectations come. I need to be like that person. I need to be like there's nothing like that. So you just have to work forward. Make sure you are good at your work. And whenever you do something, do it well. There's no half measures on that. So that's the way things are. And to quote Amir Khan from Three Idiots, I mean, you be excellent, success will follow.
Yeah,
That's it.
outstanding, outstanding advice. Before we wind up, quick thing. So when you're doing your procedures, your surgeries, what music is playing in your mind?
No, there's nothing. No music plays
No
in my mind.
music?
No, even there, time stands still. I would say, even there, because one thing for when we vitreoretinal surgeons operate, the theater is all dark. They'll switch off all the lights because we need to have a good visualization of the retina. And they are with the endolights, there's no microscope light also. So the endolight is a very small light, and you have a very small region where the light is there. So in that situation, what I see is nothing else but the retina. And I have to be that concentrated on, I have to be concentrating on the surgery rather than thinking about anything else. So music is definitely not in my mind. We used to play music in the theater, but definitely I wouldn't be listening to that. Uh, this is what I'll be doing. Certainly.
Got it. Yeah, and I'd love to have you back and talk about just the space in which you work, right? The eye is so small. And maybe you can, share with our audience, like, just the technology and the effort, because once you look into the eye, it's a different world, right? And we take things so much for granted at times. But this has been an amazing conversation, Biju. Thank you for making time for us, and we will post the links uh, in the description, and we'll glad to have you back if you're able to make time.
Sure. I should thank you, Parag, for giving me this opportunity to be on your channel. I enjoyed the chit chat we had, and thank you very much.
Hope we have many more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you.